Welcome to the back room, where we talk about today's politics across the world, around the country, and right here in the Bronx. I'm Lisa Schiffren, your host, a former Republican speechwriter.
David Eisenbach, presidential historian.
And tonight our guest is Patrick McManus, who is the chairman of the Bronx Republican Party, the Bronx Conservative Party, excuse me.
So, Zoran Mondami. I mean, this is the biggest political upset I've ever seen. What do you think, Pat?
Wait, before you predicted this would happen.
I did. But I still didn't expect it to happen, and I'm still amazed that it happened. What do you think?
I was absolutely shocked. I was really not paying attention to the Democratic primary, as most just assumed Andrew Cuomo was going to be the winner. And yes, it was a shock. I had heard the name only once or twice before he won the primary. So.
I was not, by the end, I was not surprised because Cuomo had been doing this slow fade. He came out a little bit stronger, but he never really caught fire, and he never really showed any energy or verve. He never really campaigned hard.
Yeah.
He let every incident,
at all.
Right, he let it all go. He didn't seem to want it.
He was playing it safe the whole time. I mean, he thought he had it in the bag, and he didn't see this guy coming. And and had Mondami not been in the race, he would have won. It's in retrospect, you could have seen, well, he would have taken it to him a bit more. But that's always a reluctance to actually go after a threat that might give him more fire. So I think he was trying to keep it like, nothing to see here, there isn't no real race, and everybody goes to sleep.
Mondami is good looking, and he's young, and he's glib, he's very glib. But who thought there were that many people in New York who would vote for that over experience and substance?
Well, at least he was offering something. Andrew wasn't really offering anything.
No, it's true.
You never really had a message.
I can't defend Andrew.
You never had a sense of, okay, this is what he's going to do when he becomes mayor. He was just he thought it was a coronation, and it wasn't.
He ran a Biden 2020 campaign.
Yeah, it kind of felt
where just don't say anything and you can't get in trouble.
Right. And I'm not that guy.
Yeah, that's it. Basically, that's it. I'm not,
And I think he underestimated the anger of New Yorkers who are just fed up with the Democratic Party establishment and just sick of the same old, because they knew they were just going to lose and continue to fall behind. The middle class was continue to get screwed in New York City. And Mondami, at least he was offering a discussion point. In terms of his plans, but at least he was saying there's a problem of affordability in housing, affordability in groceries, and we all feel it. Doesn't matter how much money you make.
The interesting thing is that his voters are not the poor.
Yeah.
They're not the working class. No. They're not even the middle class. They are the disenfranchised, college-educated, the people with gender studies degrees who can't make a living.
Well, that might be his base, but he certainly got more than that.
He's appealing to people who are kind of losers, who are not.
Wait a minute, hold on. The very wealthy went for Zoran.
Very wealtty.
Well,
as he is. His group.
The educated elite went for Zoran, and the kids in Long Island City and in Brooklyn, and so they had a great street game.
Yeah.
They were out there on the streets. There was an enthusiasm that you just felt from these young kids pushing Zoran, and it put him over the top. And I think it's going to make him mayor, which gets to your Conservative Party and looking at your mayor's race.
We do have a candidate. We have Irene Estrada. She's running on the conservative line. Curtis, we did not have any conversation with Curtis.
This is Curtis Sliwa, of course.
I'm sorry, yes,
Yeah.
Curtis Sliwa. The door was always open. We just never had conversation, and at this point, we're facing a very scary race. The future of New York City is in trouble right now with Zoran.
What people keep talking about is either Adams or Cuomo bowing out, and the other one taking all the votes and challenging Mondami straight, which might work, might not work.
Jim Walden, one of the independent candidates, who's actually, he's done a fairly good job raising money. He has quite a bit of funding. He's proposed that the 4 candidates other than Mandami collaborate and have all their campaigns support a poll to be done, and whoever comes out as the front runner in that poll, the other 3 candidates support them and withdraw from the race and support the winner of that poll.
So far, Andrew Cuomo is far ahead of the other 3 candidates.
Right.
Cuomo is at 36% or so, and Adams is at 16% in the polls. So even having said that, people are suggesting that Adams would be a stronger candidate against Mandami.
I believe all polls have biased to some degree.
Right.
So it's very hard. That would, if Jim Walden's idea was to come to fruition, it would be a monumental task for even the 4 candidates on which polls they're going to use and which pollsters. I think it is an interesting idea. I've looked at the numbers for Curtis.
Curtis doesn't have a chance.
Financially.
How much money does Curtis have?
Curtis has about $60,000 on hand at the moment. I know he's waiting on some public funds to come in, which will be coming in later this month. But you're looking at Zorhan has several million, Adams has several million, even Jim Walden, I know he's waiting on $2 million in matching funds. So, you know, I've also looked at Curtis's numbers. 4 years ago, he got, I think it was 312,000 votes, whereas Zorhan got 430,000 in a Democratic primary.
No, I think Curtis, as a Republican, I'm very sad about this, but I think Curtis is a loser candidate. He cannot win. People don't take him seriously. He is not necessarily, he's not a bad guy. A lot of the things that he's been talking about include the affordability and the making New York safe and comfortable for the middle class to, you know, flourish. He certainly hasn't done the wrong things, but he just can't take off. He's not. He's got too much of a reputation for being a, you know, a street fighter.
And a New York character. You know, at this point, he's a character. He's like one of the great all-time New York characters.
True New Yorker, and I will never knock Curtis for. He is a true New Yorker. He still takes the train by himself. He's done great things for the city.
He's a good guy.
He's a great guy. I just don't understand why politically he was never able to get that traction.
No, he just can't.
He has a small base that are almost like Trump's base, but very small, and they are loyal to a fault to Curtis, and for some reason he can't extend that.
You know, to be honest, it's hard to imagine Eric Adams really rising to the, you know, to the task of beating Mandami too, because he's got no charisma.
Right.
He has been slow and unimpressive in everything he's done in the city. He's done some okay things. I mean, he is a centrist by and large. He's been pretty good on crime. He's been okay on quality of life, but he.
Well,
I just don't see it.
He did win the mayorship, so that alone shows that he can do it. And the fact is, the city is in a better shape than it was when under Bill de Blasio.
That's true.
You know,
that's
the subways are safer. I know,
that's a very low bar.
But nonetheless, it was like turning around the Titanic, and he got it heading in the right direction. Minus the migrant crisis, you know, I think the city. So he could sell that, and there's a lot of money out there looking for an alternative to Zoran, and I think that Adams would be the smart bet. Frankly, after Cuomo lost that election on election night, he looked broken. He
does look broken. You're right.
He was talking about the campaign in the past tense. You know, it kind of felt like he still wasn't in the fight.
He conceded on Tuesday night before it even went into round 2.
Yeah,
and I thought that was a clear indication
that he didn't have
was
the heart
pulling out of the race, and that was going to be the end of it.
I don't even know why he's sticking around.
Because he can't let go. Because this was what his entire future was based on. He was going to be mayor, and then he was going to be president.
Yeah.
The fantasies of grown men are often
again,
hard
right
to
as
overcome.
your head, it would have worked. I mean, that's the.
He was well on the path. He was well on the path there, yes.
Right?
And,
cheers to Adams for sticking it out, right? Always stay in the game. People were screaming about that he should resign. He realized he couldn't win the Democratic primary, but the general, you never know what could happen. Save your powder, keep it dry. He's got $3 million, $4 million in the bank,
he's got,
right? He's got a shot if Cuomo drops out.
I don't see any of the other candidates being strong enough to take out Mondami. You know, unfortunately, even if they all back each other, I think it's an uphill battle for any one of them, Adams or Cuomo, or as I say, Curtis. I don't see it happening.
I was kind of entertained today at Trump's cabinet meeting. He digressed and talked about how if Mondami wins, he's going to take over New York himself.
Trump always says some outlandish things.
You know, I was kind of expecting he would endorse Curtis. He didn't. He was like, I'm not sure he even knew.
He knows Curtis can't win. I mean, he's clearly a realist about this.
Exactly. I tell all my friends I battle my heart and my head of battling all the time.
Yeah.
You know, but as I said, I don't see anybody with a clear path to victory over Mondami in any circumstances.
And if Mondami wins, it's a disaster. It is just a disaster because he will go after these stupid policies like city-owned grocery stores.
Well, that's an interesting one.
Rent freeze on rent-stabilized apartments. That's a good way to destroy your housing stock.
You're going to freeze the rent, but raise the taxes on the landlords.
And raising the taxes then brings them into conflict with Kathy Hochul. Right. So now we got another classic battle of a mayor versus a governor.
Because she's got to look at her reelection next year.
That's right. You know, so she might pay attention to this election and be like, you know what, I might need to play ball with this kid.
I don't know. I think we'd be better off if she lost.
Oh, absolutely.
But
absolutely.
I think it's entirely possible. I think she's done nothing useful. She's been far left, and she goes along with the state legislature, which is itself far left. I don't think she's won a lot of hearts and minds.
Looking forward to the governor's race. Conservatives have anybody in mind?
There's nobody, and that's just what I was going to say as to Lisa's comment. She is very beatable if we could get a quality candidate for the Republicans and Conservatives to coalesce
together.
And I think she's very beatable next year, as is Tish James.
You need somebody from Wall Street to run for governor.
Anybody who's approached?
I mean, nobody's officially approached, but there's
got to get started.
There's a few prospects. No big secret. Elise Stefanik, Mike Lawler,
Elise Stefanik
Bruce Beckman, Bruce Blakeman.
Elise Stefanik is very impressive.
Absolutely, I'm very impressed with Elise. I'd love to see her give it a shot.
You know who I like? I've said this so many times it'll bore you to tears. Richie Torres is running in the Democratic primary against Hochul.
Not that I like him that much, but he's played a very good political game.
Yeah,
as
he
of late.
has.
He handled the Israel situation incredibly from a political standpoint. Wherever you stand, he played it just perfectly. So she could be vulnerable to Richie Torres.
And then Antonio Delgado,
primary.
the lieutenant governor.
That's just bitter.
Nonetheless, it makes the race very dynamic. So
and
she's going to have trouble.
It cuts off some of his black support.
Yeah, no, she's got trouble. She's got trouble ahead.
She's got trouble within her own party and in the general. I definitely do see that she's beatable.
Well, Lee Zeldin, almost did.
That's
not quite close enough.
I said this the other day. The road to Albany runs through New York City.
Yeah.
Okay, whoever's going to run for governor on the Republican conservative side needs to pay attention to New York City.
Yes.
Okay, it's been forgotten and last and written off for the 28-29%. There's such a concentration of votes here of people that are looking for an alternative. And whoever the candidate is needs to come down to the city and campaign hard in the 5 boroughs from the start.
I think that's totally true, and I don't think Hochul did that last time.
No, Hochul didn't do it. Zeldin, unfortunately, didn't do it early enough. He did come into the city very late in the final weeks, and I think if he would have come earlier, he might have been able to take it.
Yeah, because there is frustration in New York City against Albany.
Absolutely.
And you could really tap into that. Democrats who are upset.
Absolutely.
You know,
It's become like a cycle. The New York City Council is like the little petri dish of bad ideas. And
the New York
then our
State
legislators in
legislature-
Albany see this and say, how can we take that germ down there and make it a super virus up here?
Well,
And
but they've done
basically
it. I
that's
mean,
what's
the
happening.
city council and the state legislature are both so far left that it makes no sense. It's just insane.
Absolutely.
And if you ran
Absolutely.
against waste, fraud, and corruption, and using so much of that money to actually do some real good, rather than having it go into the ether somewhere,
Well, all
I think a
that money-
Republican could make that.
Last time
This
around, all
is-
that money went to the migrants.
Well, that was one of the places.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
even if you
there's-
just go after the traditional waste, fraud, and corruption, I loved what Elon Musk was doing with the federal government. If you could do
Yes.
that with Albany,
Absolutely.
it would be amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you could find a lot.
And there is, and it seems that everybody anywhere in government, whether it's United States Congress, New York State, they're scared to get rid of the corruption because the system has been working in that environment for so long. And that's why I think the resistance was to Doge, that no, we know we're wasting money, but if we stop, the sky is going to fall.
Yeah.
And we need to keep feeding that beast.
Well, also, I think Elon actually came out and said on Twitter or X in the last day or so that that it turns out that there are plenty of Republicans benefiting from this too.
Oh, yeah.
Right, right.
This is,
Which
this
is
is
why-
a bipartisan pigs at the trough.
Yeah,
Yes,
no,
I
there's no
100%
question.
agree. The big beautiful bill after it went through the Senate, the things that got added in. And
What did you think of the big, beautiful bill?
I wasn't happy with it going into Senate. I was much less happy with it coming out. Again, we need to cut the spending. We need to cut the waste, and everybody's just so scared to do it.
Yeah.
I think it goes beyond even worrying about re-election. I
Well,
think
every
they're
bit of that
literally
wa-
scared that if they cut this waste and corruption out of government, that the government is going to fall apart.
Well, every bit of that corruption, every bit of that waste and fraud and abuse benefits somebody's district, and that person has a stake in being really adamant about getting that money to come home and
Yes.
bolster their people.
I've always said, to me, there's a pretty simple solution. If every bill is brought as a standalone bill, you're going to get rid of that. And then we're going to know exactly where the money's going. Because
No, that's true. That makes sense.
The Inflation Reduction Act, billions and trillions of dollars to clean energy. It has nothing to do with what
With
this bill is
inflation.
named. So let's make each bill stand alone on one subject so we know exactly what our elected representatives are voting for.
Yeah,
you
good.
know,
It's right.
They
It makes
hide,
sense.
federal money for abortions are hidden into, energy bills. That's all got to stop because we have no idea what our elected
senators and congressmen
leaders
have
are
no
doing.
idea what's fully in that book.
Absolutely.
They don't read those things.
It's so great, you have to pass it to find out what's in it.
That's right. And they're
you know
largely
that-
written by lobbyists. That's the really
Yes.
sick thing, right? It's not even like our legislatures or their staff are writing the bills. They're written by the lobbyists. The lobbyists send the checks to the congressman, and the whole system, regardless of who's in the presidency or the majority, keeps going.
It's an unfortunate situation, and we need to say, I don't like lobbying. I don't like all these, the pork barrel spending, and how are we going to get it out? People are scared.
And here's where I think there's a commonality between liberals and conservatives, right? That we could get together on this issue of let's cut out that waste, send a little bit of money back to the taxpayer. We're all taxpayers
But you
here.
saw what happened when Elon Musk and Doge went in and started going after some of the stupidest foreign policy programs, the AID stuff, TV shows, Sesame Street in Iraq.
Yeah.
That somehow we had to protect.
Yeah.
Well, again, I think that's a misdirection of money in the names of what these things were actually going to.
No, of course, of course.
You know,
lining lots of pockets.
Lining lots of pockets. And imagine if he took on the Defense Department.
Yeah.
I mean, instead we get now $1 trillion budget. And is our military that much stronger? You know, I look at how our weapons have been performing in Ukraine, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not sure that in today's modern warfare, the systems that we, started building back in the 80s and 90s are relevant anymore. Certainly
it's
not
also
all these tanks.
Clearly true that we don't have enough weapons. That we're running out of stuff. We're giving it to Ukraine. We're running out of stuff that we might need for ourselves.
Well, literally, that's what the Defense Department said. Like, we need these Patriot missiles. We can't give them to Ukraine. And then Trump, who reversed himself yet again, said, we're going to send the Patriots, but we can't send all of them because we still need them. And not just missiles, artillery shells. We can't make artillery shells in America anymore. And we went through our stockpile, right? So, I mean, all of a sudden now, these very advanced systems where it costs like literally $1 million a missile to shoot a $14,000 drone out of the sky, right? That doesn't work anymore. You're going to blow through your budget in a matter of months.
Some of what you said goes back to, I always say, World War II was won by America's manufacturing might. We've given that up. We need to start producing these weapons here and have the technologies. And in order to do that, we need the plants and the industry to do it.
We need shipyards.
Which is one of the things I love about what Trump says and what his policies are trying to do in bringing manufacturing back home and bringing this. I've been saying it for years. What happens if we go to war with China? Are we going to order tanks and planes from them while we're at war? China, we need to fight you. Please, we're going to order 1,000 more tanks.
No, it's
this
totally
isn't
true.
Work.
We definitely need to bring manufacturing home, and we need to manufacture weapons. But that's a hard thing to push through when Democrats are screaming about Medicaid.
Well, it's going to be painful. It's going to be painful, and another discussion I'm having. Bringing manufacturing home, we have an issue here with the unions and the liberal Democrat side. They want people getting paid $30 an hour for a job, but they want to be able to buy $2.99 Christmas lights. It's not going to work. You can't have both. You want the American worker to get paid top dollar, then the American worker has to be willing to pay top dollar for their products. And this is what we've fallen into here. And it goes to the same thing with automobiles. It'll be tanks, missiles, whatever have you. We need to bring it back here. And the way it's going to be done is with good paying or high paying jobs. But we're going to have to, as Americans, give up on our cheap, easy lifestyle.
And I'll tell you, Trump's got to, stand up. And when you say that there's going to be a tariff, right, you got to keep it going because it's not going to happen overnight. They're not just going to drop their tariffs on our products overnight, right? And you're not going to get those, these manufacturers to ship jobs back overnight either.
Right.
They got to feel the pain, and they got to believe that you're not just going to declare victory all of a sudden and then take down the tariffs within a year.
And on that note, it is time to say goodnight to our audience. And please come back next week for more Back Room. Thank you.
Regulation and Taxation Act that amends New York City Labor Law 201D. It balances legal rights of workers and those of employers, while recognizing federal law. It protects those that are over 21 and legally employed. However, it doesn't protect illegal activities having to do with cannabis. Protection is regardless of immigration or citizenship status. Here's the rundown. Between work hours, it grants employers certain abilities. But employers can't restrict employees' use of cannabis during non-work hours. However, the amended New York Labor Law, Section 201D4A, lets employers take employment action or prohibit employee conduct where can't drug test employees except in situations where it's mandatory by the state or federal government for certain jobs.